The Merchants' Guild was the youngest of the Ankh-Morpork guilds, founded in self-defense by the city's traders and shopkeepers, when they realized their role in the grand scheme of things was to be robbed. Robbing fat merchants, it seemed, was a perfectly socially acceptable, even heroic thing to do. Consequently, they weren't the friendliest of guilds either. I wasn't holding out much hope that they'd help me. Evening.
Usually is when the sun sets.
Is everyone in this city a smart aleck?
Who's he?
He used to be a regular at the Mended Drum. He made a reputation as a know-it-all.
Used to be?
The Mended Drum is a bad place to use the phrase, no.
Where did they find his body?
The Shades. And the Diesel Gate. His kidney down a well in Dolly's sister's, I think. Bits of his innards all over the place. Sounds like he had a lot of guts. So how did you end up working on the door?
Oh, there's only so many good positions to go around.
I take it this isn't one of them.
Oh, it's not that bad. I get to hear all the interesting news with this job.
And has anything interesting happened recently?
Oh, yes.
Such as?
We got a new kettle. Much nicer than the one with the leak that we used to use.
You boiled water in a kettle with a hole?
Well, we made a lot of steam anyway. It wouldn't stay in the cups, though.
And that's the most exciting thing.
Oh,
Oops.
Exciting. If you want exciting, you should see the new colour scheme in the coin shaving room.
Come on. Someone was murdered. Wasn't that exciting?
Oh, sure.
Why didn't you mention that?
A guild policy. We're not to discuss the incident with outsiders.
What's all this about coin shaving?
You haven't heard of coin shaving?
No, I didn't even know they grew hair.
Well, you take a coin and you carefully shave off some of the gold, which you can then melt down and sell. Easy money.
I think I see a problem with that.
Yeah?
Well, I didn't think there was any gold in Ankh-Morpork dollars.
Well, there isn't. Not anymore. We kind of shaved them too much.
So what do you use the coin shaving room for?
We keep the kettle there. It sets off the new decor superbly.
That's why you redecorated it?
No, we used to keep the old kettle there, only all the wallpaper fell down.
I don't understand. Why is it guild policy not to discuss the murder?
Well, as you probably know, we formed the guild to stop the dreadful habit of visiting heroes robbing all the fat merchants.
Yeah, I heard that.
Ah, yonder lies a fat merchant, they cry, using that special landlord a flagon of your finest ale hero talk. Let us relieve him of some of his ill-gotten gains. Pon my scalliard. Next thing you know, they've robbed you blind. That's the thanks you get for years of service.
Years of service, carefully mixing sand in the sugar and switching the number plates of the donkey carts.
Hey, that's a very stilted view. What about all the other top-quality bargains we offer?
Ah, yes. All those once-in-a-lifetime, never-to-be-repeated, absolutely didn't fall off the back of a cart offers.
Exactly. Plus, we keep the economy of the city running.
By giving small sums to the less smelly beggars?
Annually, yes.
You were telling me about guild policy.
Ah, yes. Anyway, it was decided that it would be the Merchants Guild's policy to fully further the aims of its members, advertise the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork, and beat 7 kinds of hell out of anyone with a leather loincloth.
Advertise the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork?
Are you saying you don't like Ankh-Morpork?
Oh, no. Absolutely not. I heard what you guys did to Castroaster.
Damn straight. He got tired real quick.
This doesn't explain why you can't discuss the murder with me.
Well, the Merchants Guild is supposed to be the shining beacon that shows the rest of the world how unsurpassably wonderful Ankh-Morpork is.
By robbing them blind?
Oi! Watch it.
Sorry. Continue.
Anyway, the point is, it's bad publicity if we're seen to have a murder in our ranks.
Couldn't you sell it as a tourist attraction?
What?
You know, come to Ankh-Morpork, site of the infamous counterweight killings.
Show some respect. A merchant lies dead, struck down in his prime.
So do half a dozen other people.
True, but they weren't merchants.
So how exactly do you go about advertising the civic charms of Ankh-Morpork?
We pursue those misguided people who publicly fail to recognise the many attractive points of this fine city.
Pursue?
Yes, we hire large gangs of men with ears like fists and fists like walnuts to point out that Ankh-Morpork is in fact a marvellously clean and decent city in which to live. A process whose ongoing nature might be swiftly curtailed if they don't shut up right now.
I suspect they see sense.
Oh yes, even if their eyes are a bit swollen.
Can you think of any reason?
I can't.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
But no one I know.
Do you know a woman named... What do you... Have you heard about the counterweight killings?
Who hasn't? It's the talk of the town. A gruesome serial killer in our own backyard.
Ankh-Morpork, where major political events are never talked about, but grisly murders are discussed over the dinner table.
Hey, if it isn't local news, I'm not interested.
Oh, of course. 10,000 killed in a pogrom in Omnia is irrelevant. But Ankh-Morpork man stubs toe on the Magdalen Bridge. Oh, that's news.
Someone stubbed their toe on the Magdalen Bridge?
Never mind. Do you know anything about Reagan's murder?
I can't help.
What do you...
I can't.
Do you know a troll by the name... There's talk of a bestial attacker loose in Ankh-Morpork.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if it might have killed that merchant.
Wonder away. But I'm not discussing the incident with you.
Damn. Do you know anything...
I can't.
Do you know anything...
I can't.
About this merchant that was killed?
Sorry, I'm not allowed to discuss the incident with outsiders. A guild policy.
It wouldn't hurt to tell me the broad details, would it?
It would hurt a lot. They'd throw me off the roof.
No one's going to know.
I'd know about hitting the ground.
Is it really that important to you?
The Merchants Guild takes its policies very seriously.
So it seemed. I had to find a way to exploit that. Do these bandages mean anything to you?
I don't know anything about...
Do you recognize this moss?
I don't know anything...
I had a feeling. I suppressed the... Well, goodbye.
Nothing I can do at the moment.
I'm back. I've got a few more questions.
Make it fast.
This
So, hey, eat.
I hear one of the Clarks got murdered.
Ask questions like that and we might have to arrest you.
On what grounds?
Well, on the palace grounds, obviously.
Do you know anything of...
We don't...
Have you...
We...
Do you recognize this moss?
I can't help you with that, son.
Do these bandages mean anything to you?
I can't help you.
Thanks.
Oh,
The garbage was giving off a distinctive green cloud, not dissimilar to the smell of the River Ankh. The empty barrels were surrounded by a cloying red mist, and it had the shrill pitch of red wine, if I wasn't mistaken. One of the empty barrels had a faint magenta trace to it. Definitely the same scent as my killer, which meant whoever it was made it into the palace concealed in a wine barrel. Why did that bring to mind the phrase, "You wait, time passes," and Thorin sits down and starts singing about gold? The empty barrels at the foot of the as far as I could tell. Turning into a wolf was. There was a linger.
Well, that'll be else. That's what I'm after.
Definitely the same scent. There were some faint traces of a light blue scent in the corner of the cellar. The scent was very weak, and I didn't think I would be able to remember it very well. The scent was extremely weak. The predominant smell in the cellar was of red wine, considerably more pleasant than the smell of the river, at least.
No, that's what I'm after.
The red wine here had exactly the same scent as the barrels outside the patrician's palace. The scent was the predominant. Some ale, I heard that a merchant was murdered. You wouldn't know anything about it, would you, Samael? A merchant? I think you better ask at a less reputable establishment. I could get into trouble suggesting that something was up in the Merchants Guild. Why? The cafe is part of the Merchants Charter. The Merchants Charter? It just means that if we're found to have caused any bad publicity for the city or the guild, they send someone round to smash the windows. Doesn't that cause bad publicity? I'd rather not pursue that interesting point. Do you know anything about the murder up at Unseen University? No. So, don't you get wizards in here? You're just around the corner from the university. No, we don't get wizards here. The wizards prefer the mended drum and other noisy establishments. What about the other staff? Well, some of the other staff do call in every now and then. I guess the closest to a regular would be Cassandra, but she's not working there at the moment. At the moment? She quits her job occasionally, but she always goes back. The university pays her a good wage for what she does. Which is? Mainly laundry and a bit of dusting. If the pay's good, why does she keep quitting? She doesn't get on with the head chambermaid up at the new hall. Why? Mrs. Foams has a bad reputation as someone to work with. Have you heard about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks? Sure thing. I was interviewed by the Watch about it. You? Why? He was the clerk in charge of the palace stores. He was the one who bought the wine for the palace. Really? So do you know anything about the murder? No. Sorry. But there should be someone here from the palace any moment now to collect the next shipment. You could ask them. I guess I could. But I doubt they'd tell me anything. Thanks again. No problem.
Have I got to do what the... Have I got to hide in the barrels?
wait, but it paid off. The wine barrels had allowed me to break into the palace. It didn't speak too highly of the palace's security, but I wasn't complaining.